Hi, my name is Rick Noel from eBizROI, and I'm going to show you today how to make a Facebook web page address more user-friendly so that you can promote the web page in multiple channels such as radio, television, or print. And we can see currently that this web page, which is for the Glenville Oktoberfest coming up, that there's a lot of information in the page, and it would be very difficult to include this entire web address in, say, a print media piece, or perhaps to try to have somebody recall this if it was recited on the radio. It's got a lot of information, too much for somebody to remember. What we'd really like it to say is www.facebook.com/Glenville Oktoberfest. So in order to accomplish that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to go in and edit the page to update the page info, and we see that there's a page address, and we're prompted to enter Facebook as a web address. We have to be logged in as the administrator of the page to be able to make these kinds of changes, and since I'm one of the administrators of this page, I can access this screen. And I will say enter a Facebook web address, and when I click on that, it changes the link to create a web address for this page. And what we want to do again is we want to have something that's easy to remember: Glenville Oktoberfest. We're going to check the availability of that. Now once we check the availability, we find that Facebook has determined that Glenville Oktoberfest is available. But there's several things that it warns you about. The first is that you can only change the username of Glenville Oktoberfest once after you've set it for the first time. So you want to choose carefully, and you want to make sure that it's a name that you're going to become invested in and that you're not going to want to change often. You can't transfer ownership of a username to another party. So this is something that you might want to consider if you've outsourced this work. The third thing is you can't violate anybody else's trademark rights, which is typical with many online social media services. The fourth is that if you're acquiring a new username to just squat on it and try to sell it to somebody at a later date, you'll lose it. And finally, username may be reclaimed for unauthorized pages. So if you're masquerading as a brand that is belonging to another company, you can lose that. So we're going to say go ahead and confirm, and when we confirm it, it says success. The username Glenville Oktoberfest has been set for Glenville Oktoberfest. Now you can direct your fans to facebook.com Glenville Oktoberfest. It's a much more user-friendly URL than the previous one. So we're going to say OK, and now we'll test that. We'll actually try to go directly to the Glenville Oktoberfest page, and you'll see now that we have a much more user-friendly URL, and we'll be able to promote this event more effectively by getting people to the Facebook page with a web address that people can actually remember. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, we can be reached at www.ebizroi.com.